It is Sunday, May 8th, 2005, in the small city of Zion, Illinois. Laura, age 8, and Krystal, age 9, are riding their bikes around town and decide to go play at the city's local park. The sun fades away, and the moon takes its place in the night sky. The girls are nowhere to be found. In a city that was built as a religious utopia with a society that was dedicated to serve and worship God, there is now a demon in the streets, waiting to feed on the innocence of these beautiful girls. Life extinguished, and two families absolutely decimated on one single day. Mother's Day. Welcome to Find Me in the Dark, a podcast covering all things true crime. This is episode 9, Murder in My City, the Child Killings of Zion, Illinois.
Find me in the dark. Find me in the dark.
Hello, and welcome back to Find Me in the Dark. I am your host, Eric Phillips, along with my co-host, Robert Prestige.
What's going on, guys?
All right, Rob. So, what's going on, man?
You know, not a whole lot, but I remember asking you a question on the last episode.
I know
And I was like, hey, can we not do children being murdered for a long time?
The plan was not to, but then with our work schedule and having to work 120 bagillion hours in
It's been crazy.
5 to 6 days, brutal shit. And, even if it is us only working 5 days or whatever, it's like...
Hey, I'm working 7 in a row
I know,
this
but
week.
those 2 days or 1 day that we have off, it's just recovery at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
You're 100% correct, my friend.
All right, so we just released the micro episode, The Revenge of Gary Pluchet, which I thought was a good episode, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I liked the story. It's obviously like a halfway terrible story, halfway feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, like I said on the episode, it's like what every parent, or really just every straight up good person understands it. Like, oh yeah, dude, for sure. Like, that's what you got to do.
I get it.
But if you want to hear it, you have to sign up for Patreon.
Yep. Patreon.com/findmeinthedark.
Which it's only $5.
Yep.
It's $5 a month, and you get, and we're seriously trying to put out a micro every 2 weeks, and it seems like we're going to be able to do it because we wrote this full episode in 1 day, yesterday.
Yeah, and we do apologize for not doing the Cleveland kidnappings.
Yeah.
Once we started diving into that story, I mean, there's so much. Much, and I think it wouldn't have been fair to you guys for us to, kind of half-ass it.
Diluting the product.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we don't want to run through things and be disrespectful to the victims and everybody involved, or even disrespectful to our listeners, because that's disrespectful. We have too much respect for you guys to give you something that is terrible.
Right. And in this case, not that, we just lived through this case. It's a local case. We both know exactly where we were when this happened.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so we kind of already knew this story front to back, so it was a little bit easier for us to knock it out with our work schedules this week. So we definitely appreciate you guys hanging in there and being understanding.
And I think this case, one of the reasons I wanted to do it is because it's almost completely unknown.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of media. There was some media, but we're talking about like ABC 7 Chicago and you know, just Chicago stuff. It wasn't nationwide. And fortunately, we are fortunate enough to be nationwide, basically, like with our listeners actually worldwide, if you look at it.
You're correct.
Somebody listened in Iceland.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's fucking nuts. That's nuts, see? One more thing I wanted to say is if you like these episodes and you're listening to them on, you know, Apple or whatever, just leave a 5-star review or actually like, or a 5-star rating, or actually write a review, because the more reviews, positive reviews that we have, and the more positive ratings that we have, it's not just for our ego. It's to get us out to more people. The higher we're rated, with the more ratings, we get higher up in the list, and we will actually be spread around to other people. So,
and I really don't want to do 60 plus hours a week plus 30 hours of this. I want to do 60 hours of this and not be at our other job.
That's right.
Eventually,
That's right.
one day, hopefully.
So if you can spread us around, I just want more people to listen, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So if you guys can spread us around, just a quick 5-star rating is good enough. But if you're feeling generous and you want to write a positive review, we obviously would appreciate that very much. All right, guys. So today we have the child killings in Zion, Illinois. It's a horrifying story, so I'm going to put in Laura's little disclaimer, little gore warning, and I'm going to do that right now, and then we are going to start the show. Hope you guys enjoy it. I mean, that might be the wrong word, but we hope you appreciate the information.
There you go.
Okay.
Find Me in the Dark contains graphic content that may not be suitable for all listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Zion is a small city in Illinois, located on Lake Michigan near the Wisconsin border, about halfway between Chicago and Milwaukee, with a population of around 30,000. The city was founded in 1901 by an evangelical minister by the name of John Alexander Dowie. The name Zion was inspired by Mount Zion of Israel. The city's original purpose was to be a religious utopian society.
While the city today still has streets named after biblical figures, the culture has drifted far away from its original religious roots. Zion is now an impoverished city, with one of the highest crime rates in its respective county. Crime is rampant, mostly break-ins, robbery, and theft, but this city is no stranger to murder.
Laura Hobbs, age 8, and Krystal Tobias, age 9, were an extremely close pair, absolute best friends, and inseparable. The girls shared a lot of common interests, including drawing, playing with puppets, acting, reading, riding bikes, and playing in the local park. Both girls attended school at Beulah Elementary. They were the typical 8 and 9-year-old girls. They were happy, smiling, and laughing together constantly. Life was good, before it was all ripped away one Mother's Day in 2005.
Beulah Park was your typical city park, located only a few blocks from the elementary school in Zion. It had all of the things you would expect in a park: swings, slides, monkey bars, and so on. The park was always the destination for young families during the day, and at night was a spot for teens to sneak beers and smoke cigarettes. The park was surrounded by a large wooded area. Running through the middle of the wooded area was a trail.
The trail was frequented by runners, cyclists, and sightseers on their daily walks. It was a beautiful trail and a great way to escape the trappings of everyday life, until one single day in 2005 that would strip the innocence and beauty right from the hands of Zion residents.
Yeah, so Zion is my hometown. I went to school there. Almost my entire life was spent either skating in Zion or you know, going
Picking
to school.
up my old Festiva.
Yep.
Carrying it.
And just doing hood shit, like straight
Pretty
up.
much, yeah.
And that's what I kind of wanted to say that, because you know, Zion really was founded as a religious utopia. It was, if you read the history, it was a fundamentalist extremist city. Like, it really was. I mean, not saying they're crazy, but they're crazy. No, not really. But like, they really just. It was a place for them where there was a bunch of people that had the exact same belief. They had churches on every corner, and they were so extreme about this that there's tunnels under the city that used to lead to the churches.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
We've been there.
We've been there. There's nothing Christ-like down there now. Let me tell you,
nothing
man.
good happens.
No, it's not. If you go down there, it's going to lead to murder, not to church.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Zion, I don't know what happened over the years.
I mean, it's still. I mean, it's. You got to remember, it's right on Lake Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
It's their downtown area. You're right on Sheridan Road. I mean, it's beautiful. These beautiful buildings there. It's. Cantel was a very, very nice place.
It's not,
and it's still a decent place.
It's a decent place.
It's just the crime rate's really high.
That's all it is. It's that you have to realize that you got to watch your shit there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's really it.
I mean, that's really it. And it's there's really nice parts of it,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, if you don't know Zion, and you're driving around and you hit a street called Hebron, don't go on it. I'm just letting you know right now, because that is basically Zion's Cabrini Green. It's ruthless over there.
And this isn't far from there. The park that we're talking about.
No, it's not
at all.
It's not. And that there's just over the years it has been just a spike in crime, and a lot of it being violent, and just I guess that's how it is now. But yeah,
we just wanted to give you kind of information on where we're from, and that we like I said, before we lived through this, we know, like I said, we knew where we were when it happened, and just remember the constant news coverage from local newses and things like that. So yeah, that's Zion.
That's Zion
Illinois.
for you. All right, man. It is now Sunday, May 8th, 2005, Mother's Day, in Zion, Illinois. Laura and Krystal were out playing, doing the usual activities they always did, riding bikes around town, and then stopped at a friend's house to draw in the garage with washable markers. The last time the girls were seen alive was between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m., riding their bikes towards Beulah Park. Both children were responsible and reliable, so when they failed to show up at the time their parents told them to be home, the families grew increasingly worried.
As time went on, and the girls still didn't show, both families called the police and reported the girls missing. Shortly after the girls were reported missing, citizens of Zion formed search parties to scour the city for any sign of the girls. The search was unsuccessful. At about 6 a.m. the following morning, Jerry Hobbs, Laura Hobbs' father, found the girls in a wooded area of Beulah Park.
Both Laura and Krystal had multiple stab wounds to the face, and both girls were missing their eyes, for they had been gouged out. Between the two children, they had a total of 31 stab wounds to their tiny bodies. A horrific crime that would darken Mother's Day for two families forever. A city that was once meant to be a city of God now has the devil in its streets. Who would do this?
Jerry Hobbs was immediately marked as a prime suspect. Hobbs is an ex-convict with a lengthy rap sheet, and had only recently moved to Zion from Texas in an attempt to salvage his relationship with his girlfriend and 3 children. While Terry and family were living in Texas, Terry was arrested for chasing a man with a chainsaw for attempting to flirt with his girlfriend. Along with this crime, Jerry had a lengthy history of violent offenses, including aggravated assault twice and assault causing bodily harm, all between 1990 and 2001.
He was no stranger to the system. Jerry was immediately brought into questioning for a lengthy interrogation spanning about 20 hours total. Jerry was under intense scrutiny and unbelievable pressure. He eventually broke, admitting to the murder of Laura and Krystal. During his confession, there was no mention of a sexual assault taking place. After the preliminary investigation into the murders, it was discovered that the girls had in fact been sexually assaulted. Jerry was held in the Lake County Correctional Facility for 3 years before a shocking new discovery was made that would turn the entire case upside down.
Hobbs' defense team decided to send the case evidence to a private lab to be evaluated. The lab made a shocking discovery. Semen was present on Laura's body, and the DNA that was discovered did not belong to Jerry Hobbs. Hobbs spent 2 more years in jail before they matched the DNA to the offender. This offender being Jorge Torres, who at the time of the murders was only 16 years old. With this massive discovery, Hobbs was exonerated, and the focus was now strictly on Jorge. Jerry eventually sued the state and was awarded a $6 million payout, but nothing can mend his emotional wounds.
He was a victim of a common police tactic, worn out, denied sleep, and emotionally exhausted to the point of admitting a crime simply to get the interrogation to stop. False and forced confessions are more common than you think, and it is a part of our system that needs to be changed before more and more citizens suffer at the hands of law enforcement, the very ones that pledge to protect us. All right, so I was in school. I went to Zion High School when this happened, and the amount of information that was coming out,
we should say that you guys are pretty much the same age.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I'm not positive he went to Zion High School, but I am positive that we've hung out before.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, he was friends with my guy Tony, and it's not like me and him were straight up cool, but I definitely remember him. I remember him at parties and stuff like that. He's got one of those faces that you just remember.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah. So anyways, I was in high school when this happened, and just everybody, as you could imagine, in a high school was talking about this shit. Like, but there was so much misinformation. Like, I was told that the girls were cousins. A few times I was told that they had been chopped up, and all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's crazy. It's crazy how that works, right? Telephone.
Yeah, and it's what is crazy is that everybody just believed that the dad did it, and that's partially the fault of the media,
Well, and I mean, I guess he did confess. I mean, it's false confession.
Sure, false confession.
But I mean, he confessed. So I mean, I guess nobody would have any reason to deny it.
Well, yeah, and like I said, the media was running just 24-hour stories of, because they love that shit.
No, for sure.
They love thinking that a dad killed his kid, which is sick.
It's disgusting.
And you shouldn't even come out and say anything until after there's a trial, realistically. And it just had a huge impact on Zion as a whole. You know what I mean?
And even like I said, I'm from Kenosha, which is 15 minutes away from Zion, just into Wisconsin. And the same thing. I mean, it's the whole surrounding area.
Oh man!
I mean, I remember when I first heard this. I mean, my mom called me and she's like, "Did you hear that these 2 little girls were killed and they were found, stabbed up and all this other stuff?" And I'm like, "Holy cow, I can't believe it!" Like, it's scary to think that it's right in your backyard.
It's right there. I mean, it's right by the high school that I went to. It's right there. You could leave the high school and just walk there within 10 minutes. And I remember that. Like, I was in high school, so I was like 17, 16 years old. But, I remember my parents talking to me like there is a killer in Zion, they have the dad in custody and stuff. But I remember for a while that Zion implemented a curfew. Like,
Yeah,
I think it was people under 18 or something like that couldn't be out past 8 o'clock.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah. Because I remember, I still broke the goddamn rules because I was a hood rat. But yeah, it was basically the city was on lockdown.
Wow.
And it's just one of those things that this isn't the type of crime that happens all the time in Zion.
No, I mean, there's murders and things,
but it's gang shootings, drug deals, stuff like that, like stuff that you get in cities, which Zion is a city. It's not a rural town, it's a city. And you don't get this type of crime because this is like the most brutal, horrific thing you can even think of.
We should never have this kind of crime.
No, you should never, nobody should ever stumble upon a body of girls with 31 stab wounds between the two, and a bunch of them being on their face, and them, missing their eyeballs.
Yeah. Oh.
They're missing their eyeballs. We're talking about two little girls.
And the father, I mean, he's the one that found them.
Yeah.
God, man. I mean, never.
And I think the dad has shown a lot of signs of being a mentally ill person.
Mm-hmm.
With that irrational behavior of chasing a guy with a chainsaw for flirting with your girl.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, dudes flirt with girls, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not with your girl at all times, it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And if you're so insecure and you don't trust your girl enough to be like, hey, I have a boyfriend, then you shouldn't be with that girl in the first place. So that's on a whole different story.
Right.
And another thing that I really, really do not want to have to say this, but I feel like
it definitely needs to be said.
It needs to be said. It would be unfair to everybody because this does paint a picture of how evil this guy was. The DNA that was found was not exactly on the body. It was in the body. They found it inside her vagina, anus, and mouth. So, oh shit, man. So,
dude,
that's the type of human that we're dealing with.
It's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
That's hard. That was hard for me to say, dude. Like, legit. I just can't imagine what these girls went through. And what really gets me is thinking, like, one of them had to watch this happen to the other one.
I mean, I really hope it didn't happen that way.
I don't know how he would do it.
Unless he got rid of one and forced the other. I don't know. I don't want to know. I really don't. I really don't want to know, to be honest with you.
I really don't want to know either. So, yeah, man, but I just feel like that's a very important part. And, like I said, it wouldn't be fair to really...
Yeah, I mean, we have to paint a picture. I mean, that's what we do. This is the reason why we do this. So, it's not always easy to say certain words and say things that happen, but I think that's on us to tell you as listeners that.
Of course. It's just important to know the type of animal that we're dealing with.
Agreed.
So, let's just hop back into the story, bro.
Alrighty. Jorge Torres was a resident of Zion who was friends with Krystal's older half-brother. Shortly after the murders, Jorge enlisted in the Marine Corps and was stationed at Meyer Henderson Hall Base in Arlington County, Virginia. While at Meyer Hall, Jorge had his eyes set on his next victim, 20-year-old Amanda Snell, who was a Navy petty officer second class. After committing the murders of the two beautiful young girls, stealing their innocence, futures, and destroying the families and community, it still wasn't enough. He still had the desire, the itch, the overwhelming urge to commit murder.
On July 12th, 2009, Jorge murdered Amanda by way of strangulation in the barracks at Meyer Henderson. Even after his third murder in 4 years, Jorge was able to slip through the cracks and elude police. Jorge's horrifying crime spree was not over, not even close. On February 10th, 2010, a 26-year-old female was walking to her boyfriend's house in Arlington County. He approached her from the rear, grabbed her by the jacket. He then flashed his gun and instructed the woman to continue walking.
Along with the gun, Jorge was also carrying a knife, which he then pulled on the woman and walked towards a parked Dodge Durango. Before he could get her to the car, she dropped her bag and took off running for her life. She was able to make it to a nearby friend's house, where the friend immediately called the authorities, but neither Jorge or her bag were found. He has gotten away with it again. Jorge now felt invincible, like he would never be caught. But 17 days later, two female students were walking to one of the girls' houses in Arlington County. When they arrived at the house, Jorge stood up from behind a parked car, surprising the two girls.
He showed them he was carrying a gun and instructed them to hand over their wallets. After collecting their belongings, he forced them into their house and bound the girls with a vacuum cord. After tying them up, he then forced them into a bedroom in the house. After putting the girls in the room, Jorge left them for a short period of time, giving the girls enough time to loosen their restraints and dial 911. Jorge returned to the room, where he immediately saw the loosened restraints and cell phone. He smashed the phone against the wall and then forced one of the girls outside to his SUV. Jorge drove for a short period of time before parking the truck and jumping into the back seat with his bound victim.
He forced the girl to perform oral sex multiple times before he put a condom on and raped her. He covered her eyes with packing tape and drove to a secluded area where he would force the woman to perform oral sex on him one more time. After the repeated assault and rape, he used the girl's scarf to strangle her until she lost consciousness. He then dumped her body in a secluded area. Eventually, a passerby found the girl and called an ambulance after realizing she was still alive. After police found the two girls, they began gathering information on the assailant's physical appearance and the description of the vehicle used in the attack.
The police pieced everything together, and on February 27th, 2009, Jorge was finally apprehended by the police at the military base. Police searched Jorge's Durango. Some of the incriminating items that were found are as follows: one of the girl's student ID, an earring, packing tape, and a stun gun. While searching his barracks, they uncovered a loaded Glock 22 along with ammo and a laptop that had multiple sexually graphic videos that depicted acts of extremely violent rapes. Many of those videos showed the rape of unconscious women. After presenting all of the evidence from the truck, laptop, and his barracks, Arlington County Circuit Court convicted Jorge on December 10, 2010, of abduction with the intent to defile, robbery, use of a firearm in a felony, abduction, rape, breaking and entering while armed, and forcible sodomy.
He was given 5 life sentences, followed by consecutive sentences totaling 168 years. While Jorge was awaiting trial for the rapes in Arlington County, the police had suspicions that he would attempt to threaten or intimidate the witnesses that were set to testify against him in court. They decided to wiretap his cellmate, Osama El-Attari, in an attempt to gather evidence from the recorded conversations between the cellmates. They had no idea what was about to be discovered in these recordings. While police listened to the conversations, they heard something absolutely groundbreaking. Jorge admitted to the murder of Amanda Snell, which up until then had remained unsolved.
Along with his recorded confession and DNA evidence, Jorge was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to death by way of lethal injection. Due to his crimes, Jorge's DNA sample that he voluntarily gave during the Snell investigation was entered into the nationwide DNA database. The Illinois State DNA examiner never gave up on solving the murders of Laura and Krystal. He would randomly run the DNA found on Laura through the system and see if there was a match. In June of 2010, the examiner ran his DNA through the system for a random check. He was stunned when he found a potential match.
The examiner requested further testing to prove that Jorge was the man responsible for the murders. He was their man. After further testing, 1 in 985 quadrillion would be expected to have the same profile. Jorge was extradited to Lake County to face the charges, where he would negotiate a guilty plea, and was sentenced to 100 years, 50 years for each victim. Circuit Court Judge Daniel Shanes recounted the injuries to each of the girls, Jorge's disgusting behavior, and deemed Jorge to be a serial killer. In the end, Jorge had raped and murdered for years, while a father, sat in jail, mourning the loss of his daughter, while serving multiple years for a crime he did not commit. Yeah.
Man, I don't even know. I mean, could you imagine, like, say this happened in 1982, you know?
Oh, he'd still be in prison.
The dad would be in prison.
100%.
For life.
Mm-hmm.
For life. Knowing that he's an innocent man.
Yeah.
And I think...
How many thousands of people are sitting in that spot right now?
That's my issue with the death penalty. Mm-hmm. That really is it, because if you're executing 1% wrong, nope. Not cool with that.
Yeah.
But just the absolute savagery of Jorge. is hard for a normal person to comprehend.
I agree. And it's crazy because like we were talking about this case, and we knew about the two girls in Zion.
Yeah, everything else.
I had no idea.
No idea. I strictly, right when we started this episode, it was just going to be about these murders.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden,
Oh, he murdered
this
somebody
stuff,
else?
I'm like, what?
Rape?
He raped
What?
and attempted to rape a few girls, and like, I don't know what it is about this guy. He's an animal, and he also, he tried to fight his conviction, saying that the DNA was tampered with.
Where?
That's what I'm saying. And then, do you know who represent? I think she did. I'll look it up, but represented Hobbs.
Kathleen.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Zellner.
Kathleen Zellner.
Yep. Which once I saw her name, I was like,
freaking
yeah,
love-
of course
he's
he's
done.
getting out.
He is definitely.
Not
getting
only
out.
is he getting out, but he's getting every penny that he
for
can
sure.
get.
Yeah, she's a beast.
She is a beast. I fucking love her, man.
Yeah.
She's just so cool. But there was a bunch of stuff. Jorge still denies this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't imagine trying to say that the DNA evidence.
How? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, you were in that same town.
Yeah, and they
Same town.
said
Same time.
he said something about his confession being a lie, and it's just he's doing everything he can to try and look like an innocent person.
Yeah, but here's the deal. It doesn't really matter. I mean, he's screwed before that.
Of course, yeah, he was.
I mean,
already
it does
sentenced.
matter, obviously, for the families and stuff. I shouldn't have said that, but he's done. I mean, he's never gonna see the light of day.
I'm almost positive that he was trying to fight all of his convictions.
Oh, okay, that's what you're talking.
I think.
How?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
He's just doing everything he can to look innocent and get out of prison. And guess what, dude? You don't want to get out of prison. You don't want to get out of prison because someone's going to beat you to death.
Mm-hmm.
You have a better chance in prison than you do out here.
Which is still a slim chance too. If
Yeah.
he ever hits Gen Pop,
General population, he's
yeah,
screwed.
Yeah.
And I just feel so strongly for the families of these girls. The Hobbs family in particular, strictly because Jerry had to do so much time. And jail time in itself is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
One, Lake County is an absolute shithole jail.
You've been there.
Yeah, I have. A few times. It's a shithole. And Gen Pop is no joke there, dude. Like, just being in that just regular rec room and shit, it's no joke. It is no joke. And guess what? It's no joke if they think you killed 2 girls.
For sure not.
So, not only doing that, but knowing that you're innocent and having to sit there, you are mourning your daughter and her friend, and you're sitting in there with this jumpsuit on, with people staring at you, thinking that you did it.
Yeah.
And it's just awful. And, just man, I get why people thought he did it with his confession or whatever, but I also understand how that could happen to him.
The false confession part.
Yes, the false confession.
I
And
mean,
that's-
you're talking almost a full day, almost 24 hours, of just constant, just over and over and over again the same questions and all this. You did this, you did this, you did this, and not sleeping. Probably barely baby barely gave him some water.
I highly doubt, because
and-
I've been in county like that, and they're not going to go out and get you Popeyes.
Right.
Like, they don't give a shit about you. Like, their whole deal is not to get the truth. It's to get you to say you did it. They need to close this case. They don't,
that's it.
that's it. And I get, as a fellow mentally ill person, which he might not be diagnosed, but come on, bro. We read for 10 hours on 20 hours on this guy, and it's pretty clear that he is mentally ill. So that on top of all of them pushing him and fucking riding him for 20 hours, that it's very easy to crack and just be like, yeah, I did it. I need this to stop. Like, because I feel that sometimes. Like where sometimes I'm talking to somebody and, you know, they'll be arguing with me and I don't agree with them, and this overwhelming anxiety will come, like it's about to burst out of my chest like Alien, and I just say, yeah, you're right.
Right. Just to end it.
Okay, what is it going to take to get you away from me? And that's it. And then later you start to realize the consequences. But that's this system. So,
you know, one thing we didn't really talk too much about was Jorge's age when he did this. You know,
we said it.
I know that, but I'm saying, like, it's just crazy. He's 16 years
16-year-old.
old to end up
He's a monster.
to kill 2 little girls.
Oh my
16
God.
years old.
He's a monster. And it's so crazy that somebody that young could do something so evil. He's only 8 years older than the youngest victim.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's a child himself.
And hey, you're friends with her brother, and you still kill her?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is, like, he's just sick.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a sick person. And he's one of those people that there's no chance of him being rehabilitated. That's not a possibility.
No.
So it's like, yeah, man, you're just going to have to die. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but we can't trust you in our society, and we shouldn't have to pay for you out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I definitely agree.
It just doesn't make sense. It is easier just to take you out of existence.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's yeah, he definitely needs to be.
I mean, I just want to really say it's quite a possibility that the families hear this because it is our city and we have a lot of fans that support us in Zion and Kenosha and stuff like that. That we just want to say rest in peace to Laura and Krystal. And that we are so sorry for what happened, and that it's something that nobody should ever have to go through. Nobody should outlive their child.
Never.
It just shouldn't happen. And then to know the details of what happened and just have to live with that. You all are a special type of strong human being that can endure anything now.
Yeah, for sure.
Just we just want to let you know that we have love for you.
Yeah,
and
we're definitely here for you.
And if any of you want to contact us, I don't know, about maybe just getting a message out there, or just something you feel needs to be said and you want it said, contact us. We will
do it in a heartbeat.
Do it whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you want, we'll do it. So yeah, guys, that is the the child murders of Zion, Illinois, our hometown. Horrific story, sad circumstances, but at least that guy is on death row.
Yep.
And he's going to get what's coming to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it might not be what he actually deserves. He deserves worse. But this is legally all we can do.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, guys, we will be releasing a micro.
Hopefully next week. Yep.
Next week it's going to happen. Which I just want, if just sign up for Patreon, man, because you're going to get 2 extra episodes a week or a month, plus the episodes early, and it's $5.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the you probably buy energy drinks or coffee or cigarettes or whatever it is every day, and you could be getting extra content just for that price. So, and then the other things we've been talking about is merchandise.
Yeah.
We were gonna look into printing more coffee mugs with a different design, better design on it, and T-shirts that we haven't really figured out the design, but it's going to be something different than our logo. You know, it's going to be something specific, and we're going to put out female T-shirts.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Straight up female stuff, because it turns out
our demographic
that like 93% of the people that listen to this podcast are women.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Hey, ladies.
Of course, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because all the great true crime podcasts that I listen to have female leads.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one that generates the most profit is My Favorite Murder. You know, and they're just all so good. All of them are so good, and just women have such a good way of storytelling compared to most of the men that I've heard. That is like, come on, dude. It's because I have a feeling it's because they're just. It's like there's something about like moms and just women in general that are like have this maternal instinct, and it's just like they have the feelings that they display in these podcasts, and just with the fans that we talk to, they're just more sensitive and in tune.
Yeah, I think that
with their emotions and have a healthier way of looking at things, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you nailed that on the head, actually.
So yeah, guys, we're gonna try and print new shirts, print new mugs. Maybe we'll come out with something else. I don't really know.
Yeah, we're working on it.
We're working on it.
We're definitely trying some new avenues and try to get you guys some cool things.
And we're just getting better at this because, I mean, this one took us 1 day to write.
Yeah.
And then half a day, not even to record.
Yeah.
So the micro episodes are easily going to come out once every 2 weeks, along with these episodes coming out once every 2 weeks, so they'll alternate. But every week there will be content now.
So we'll be able to give you 4 episodes a month.
Yeah, we're going to work hard and make sure that if you're on Patreon, you're going to get your money's worth.
For sure.
So
100%.
It's $5 to sign up, and I think it's patreon.com/findmeinthedark.
Yep.
And that's where you got to go to sign up. So if you could, and also I'll reiterate it again, to please rate this 5 stars. Write a review if you're feeling snappy. You know, whatever you guys want to do. Yeah. Good job today, Rob.
Yeah, same to you, Eric, as always.
All right, we love you guys very much.
Peace.
Find Me in the Dark. Out.